Alright, what's up, y'all? My name's Tim Ream. I'm here today on the 34th day of 75 hard. I've still got an outdoor workout to do, and this is going to be one of my 45-minute workouts. I'm going to be doing quads. I just did them like 3 days ago. Typically wouldn't work them this frequently, but I'm trying to get them on film for you guys, trying to get more of the legs, hamstrings and quads and the leg days in there for film days. I did have a tragic moment earlier this week, and I went from basically like day 11 to day, I don't know, like 19, and I fucking deleted footage in there. So there's going to be like a week gap in this whole thing here. It is what it is, man. Kind of sucks, but I can't retrieve the footage. I done tried, but anyways, I'm gonna throw calves in here. I'm gonna leave them for the end just so I don't wear my legs out. I'm a superset with some forearms. Spring cut's going super good. It's a little chilly out here, but I'm like, dude, I'm still taking my shirt off. Never had a six pack, so I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm getting there, dude. So I want to get on film, and also I want you guys to see me with my shirt off as this entire thing progresses, so you guys can see that my theories are sound, my theories work, and that everything checks out. But that being said, this is brief and infrequent. The quad workout is. If you guys actually give a lot of quality, learn how to give each exercise within that workout the quality it deserves, you'd be surprised on what kind of quantity you can cut out. So I've actually only got 4 exercises. It's going to be basically just leg extension. I'm going to pre-exhaust my quads whenever I go over to squats, before I go to squats. Second exercise will be the squats. Then I'm going to come back over to leg extensions, blast them again, and then I'm going to just bust it down and do a couple single leg extensions, and that's going to be it. But I mean, the thing that actually stimulates growth is me going past my body's limit from what it was last time, right? And you do that one time, you're going to stimulate growth. So it's really just about going into that red line area with all of these exercises, and but all right, so we're going to get into it. Kind of rearrange the gym a little bit, got everything set up pretty good, and yeah, man, let's freaking go, bro. I'm going to do several warm-ups for quads here. Still kind of getting my knees back to the place where I want them to be after my back surgery and all that shit. So do kind of a lot of warm-ups on the quads. This has really been a good learning experience, getting all this stuff on footage and fine-tuning my process out here in the gym. Because, I mean, if you think about it, you got a lot of conceptions of how you think something might work, but it ain't until you actually get into it that you realize those concepts are just out the window, Or you can get pretty close. My theories were pretty close, like how I got the gym set up and stuff like that. But once I started getting filming and, getting audio and then going on the editor and editing all the footage, it's like, oh shit, I need to rearrange some stuff. Need to, do stuff a little bit different. So it's just been good, man. Also, like filming for going and editing all this footage, I've been able to really look at a lot of the footage of me working out and start to get better form, because I see like I'm, breaking form on some certain things, or I could have better form on different exercises. Oh, I could have slowed down on the negative on that. Could have done this or that. And so it's actually really allowed me to improve my process. So if you guys ever get a chance, not even necessarily to post it, but if you guys can actually film your workouts just to get eyes on what you're doing, because if you don't actually see yourself at kind of an objective angle, or from a kind of removed point of view, then you're probably doing things you think are okay, but if you were actually to see yourself, then you'd be like, I can definitely be better about that. So it's actually good just for, common gym goers, just to get their form down and improve their processes and methods and all that stuff too. That is the nature of what it is. Man, I did hamstrings earlier this week for you guys. It's been probably like 8 days. I don't know about 8 days. It's probably been like 5 or 6 days. And my hamstrings are still tore up, dude. I don't know, I did add one extra workout, it's the same workout, but I added a variable to it, and I don't know if that did it or if it was what exactly I did, but I haven't had my legs that sore for that long in, I don't know, a while, probably since I really started working out again.
And that's not reality, okay?
And I really appreciate you guys who are supporting me in the comments too and are following along with me. Like, I know the theories are sound and all that stuff, and I'm just kind of excited to be able to, you know, share them with everybody so you can start seeing results too. And I like things that make logical sense too. Like, this stuff just makes, once you get the fundamentals of what actually produces muscle growth, then you can actually, and you enter that into your thinking, then you can actually start really working with it and meditating on it, working it out, and you know, trying different variables in your mind. But once you have logical stuff in there, then you can get logical stuff out. And so I just like the logical progression of how these, I guess, the methods that I got turned on to, it's like Mike Mincer and Dorian Yates and all them, they really helped me sort out my thinking on bodybuilding and muscle growth and what all causes it, and the factors that surround muscle growth too.
For 5 years, it sits in the ground with no sign of growth, no sign of sprout. And then once it starts to sprout, it grows 60 to 80 feet in 8 weeks. All right? So this is the same thing that happens with your life. When you start to work to improve it, when you start to try and improve your career, your mental toughness, your skill set, everything that you're about, your life in general, it feels very discouraging because you're pushing, and nothing is happening. But that's because you don't have the right perspective about how things happen. And if you think about success, and you should think about it like this. Think if you took a hockey stick and you laid it on the ground with the handle being the long part and then the blade pointing up at the sky. The handle being the long part is what it takes and how much work you have to do. And that is very long. And once you get to where you start to see results, the results go up very, very quick. And that is the same way that your success is going to work. It's the same way your life is going to work.
All right.
You just have to understand.
Put a little bit of weight on here.
Bear through it, and eventually you'll acclimate to it, and all these things that feel like you're
keep warming up,
balance, or you're not doing it right, will go away, and it'll just feel warm. And you'll actually discover that you're really not even pushing that hard, and then if you're ambitious enough, you're even push harder than that. So that's what you're dealing with, dude. I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about a lot of these concepts for a long time, but they've just been in my head. And so some of this stuff may seem a little bit repetitive of me, like, you know, covering the same topics from one workout to the next. But, like, also this filming process has been good because it's actually allowed me to articulate what I've just been thinking about and put it into words. And so I've been thinking about it a long time, but hadn't really had the chance or anybody really to verbalize the processes too. So I'm still kind of working that out and putting it in a precise form and articulating it correctly. But yeah, so that's been good too.
You have to be selfless to be self,
or you have to be selfish to be selfless.
To be selfless, right? And I feel like there is a time period that the focus has to kind of be on you.
Has to.
Right, before you can really appreciate and be valuable to other people. How do we navigate that as a young person who's 20 years old? How do we navigate that and get that crowd away from us, as far as that feeling that we have to?
Well, that is your own insecurities and your own misunderstanding of the process that's making you feel that way, coupled with the comments and the outside pressure that you might feel from your friends and your family for changing up the way that you operate. And it's usually a combination of both of those. But what you have to realize is that there's a reason.
It was kind of a funny concept, and I just thought about it because I'm starting to kind of introduce the burn now.
All right.
And it's you don't want to turn your warm up into a workout. And like, if you realize what actually that your body's got a limited amount of chemical resources, and if you dip into them too much, with too many sets, then at that point, your body can't possibly, it's like
together in the best possible way in order
your body can't basically your body can't possibly produce enough resources to cope to the stress stimulus that you're presenting to it. And if you dig into them too far, I mean, if you're digging into them and your body needs 150, units of resources to overcome the stress, but it can only produce 100 per day, then I mean, it's just going to go downhill from there. You're basically chipping away at your body. And like Mike Mincery talks about how people turn their warm-ups into a workout before they ever get into the workout. And it's true, man, because like there is only a limited amount of recovery ability that your body can produce. And if you're already chipping away at it, like it's just counterproductive, man.
What happens is people get into a cycle where they can't get out of that. They end up neglecting themselves and neglecting their career or their fitness or their health or their mind or their sanity or their own dreams because they are worried about like maintaining the balance. Bro, balance is a fake thing. It's not real. And by the way, last time I checked, there's no fucking award for balance. No one comes and writes you a check for how balanced you are. No one comes and builds you a house for how balanced you are. No one comes and gives you a nice life for how balanced you are. That's not what the fucking game is. The game is, are you effective? Are you skilled? Do you produce results? That's the game. So we can talk about balance, and it sounds nice, but the reality is, to actually win in real life, balance has to be a second or third thought on the plate behind being effective and producing results and building ourselves into the best possible us. So, yeah, your friends who don't do shit, they'll talk about balance all day. But what do they have? You see what I'm saying? Balance doesn't equal success. It just doesn't. Imbalance equals success. And your ability to feel peace is going to come down to your ability to be comfortable in chaos. All right? If you're comfortable in chaos, you're never going to be peaceful if you're an ambitious human. That's just reality.
I love it. Guys, Andy, question number 2. I got a little business question for you, Andy. From a young gun here. Andy, I'm a 22-year-old that's been chasing my dreams of real entrepreneurship since I was 16. I'm 2 years in my brick and mortar store. All right, I have a team of 5 people. My business is in tech repair. Okay, so it says think Geek Squad, but mom and pop, and we are actually fucking cool. My company's foundation is a subscription service where for a monthly fee, any electronics in your home we service. It's not cheap, but we built a solid base. My question to you is, how did you handle the balance of servicing new customers and maintaining those relationships with your existing customers while building and cultivating new ones? Who gets the attention? How did you manage both? I feel like we're about to enter a nice growth phase because Best Buy just closed down in our town, which means a massive pool of people to get. I just don't want to forget about those who helped us get.
Well, that's a very valid concern, all right? Because the people that you've already taken care of, that you've already invested in, that you've already spent money to acquire, that you've already serviced, those are the people that are going to spread the word.
All right, so I'm going to go into that set to failure here. Bump up weight a little bit.
Advocates of your brand, okay? You have advocates of your brand, and then you have people who never heard of your brand. Now,
I almost want to stay at this weight here because it's good and controlled, but I feel like I'm going to have to get up into the 30s and 35 rep range to really get into failure. And
what you need to do is you need culturally.
This seems to start to pull me out of my seat. This weight does, but I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna use this here.
And the attention that you give them is equal.
So I'm basically, in a way, pre-exhausting the quads with those warm-up sets just a little bit. You know, I'll do like 2 or 3. Usually on that first exercise, I'll do like 3 warm-up sets. And that third one, like I'm pumped, and I've got blood in there, and I feel the burn, but I cut off, you know, before I start to get into like really working it out. And I save that for the last set, dude. So that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm gonna go right into it here and push this one as far as I possibly can.
They understand both of these things are important. And so 100% attention should be given to the people you already have, servicing them, making a great experience, making sure that they are well taken care of, with the idea that you are going to solve their problems, and for solving their problems in such an effective way, they're likely going to tell their friends, hey, I'm going over here, these guys do this, they're awesome, they handle it, they take care of me, I love these guys, and they spread the word. You get a lot of free marketing there, right? And then, off that free marketing, the new people come in, and by the way, you have to uphold that standard, because the standard that those current customers are spreading is very good. So if you get the new ones that are in and you don't hold that standard that they're spreading, they're ultimately let down, which is the catch-22 of having a great experience. When you do a great experience and your brand is built around great experiences, you have to understand that when those people start to tell that story, you have to uphold that deal for the people that come in, because they've already been prefaced with how great you are, right? Their expectation. Yes. You go to the movies. Someone tells you, oh, you got to see this movie, it's so awesome. Your expectation for the movie is very high. If you go in and watch the movie and it sucks, it's actually like way more sucky than it would have been had you not been prefaced with how great it was going to be. So your ability,
And don't complicate this too much. You go to one set to positive failure. Okay?
It's both.
You can do some negatives and get the extra work out of them. Yeah, you could pause and then do some more, do some rest pause. You could drop a little bit of weight and then keep dropping and keep going to failure while you're pyramiding down. But any of that, what you're doing is increasing the volume. You're also increasing the amount of resources that your body's going to have to produce in order to, cope with that stress stimulus. So one set to positive failure with a few forced reps is really all it's going to take. And the main thing is, whenever you come in here next time, did I get stronger? Because if I got stronger, then by definition, the muscle got stronger. And think about it. The muscle has to get stronger to get bigger. If that wasn't the case, then you could basically say it can get bigger while becoming weaker. And if that was the case, then you could just sit on your couch and eat Cheetos and get weaker and then still get bigger muscles at the same time. So if you're coming in here and you're stronger the next time, then by definition it's not the same muscle. And, then you are definitely making gains, basically. All right, so I've pre-exhausted the quads. I'm going to come over here and start doing squats. I'm just going to do one set of warm-ups, and then I'm going to go right into a heavy set of failure.
Things won't be this or that anymore because they'll understand how it got.
Well, guys, any question number 3?
And I've noticed the least amount of warm-up sets that I do, since there still is a pre-exhaustion factor in that. If I take some of those sets out, warm-up sets, then that heavy set that I can do is that much more. I can get that much more weight and that much more reps out of it, which is going to stimulate that much more growth. Also, since there's that pre-exhaustion factor with the warm-up sets, if I take that out of there, then I'm also decreasing the volume, which I'm also decreasing the demand on my central nervous system and my chemical resources, and making sure that they can keep up with the stimulation that I'm bringing, and it can actually produce growth in between the time I'm working out now and in between the next time. All right.
And then they think they'll figure it out later, and figuring out later comes 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years later. Then you don't have any more time. So I would encourage you to really think about who you want to be, what you want your life to be like, who you want to be surrounded by, and then work a plan backwards from that. How do you dream? Bro, it's very simple. If you knew that there weren't any limits for you in your life, what the fuck would you do? What would your life look like? Who would you be friends with? What kind of spouse would you have? What kind of lifestyle would you lead? What kind of house would you live in? What kind of car would you drive? What kind of money would you make? Like it's like going shopping. I want a little bit of that, I want some of this, I want some of that, I want some of this. There's no limits, okay? Because there are none. And if you make that version of yourself in your head, you actually take time to design it, then it's as simple as reverse engineering it backwards to where you're able to execute on a day-by-day basis. This isn't magic, it's not rocket science. It is deciding what you want, working backwards from what you want to where you are, and then moving forwards with your actions day by day to make this vision a reality 5, 10, 15 years down the road, all right? And if people just understood that it was that simple, and it's not this magical thing, it's not luck, it's not mystical, you know, we have a lot more successful people, because the reality is society wants you to believe that you have limits, and that, you know, you can't really do anything, and you know, you can't really become that because only so many people become that. Well, fuck, why not you? Why not you? What excludes you? You know, and
that movement's still super hard on my knees. So I'm trying to be conscious of, you know, kind of the range of motion I'm using and the weight. But, you know, I've thought about using, you know, wraps. And I feel like if I've got to use wraps, then I'm already past my body's ability. I don't want to be pushing my joints to a crazy limit they can't actually handle. So I'd rather pump the brakes a little bit, learn how to strengthen my knees back right, get the tendons and ligaments and the muscles surrounding them strengthened up, and build my knee back up and start to feel better about them, and then maybe use wraps or something. But I feel like I'd be putting the cart in before the horse if I start to use wraps now, because I feel like I never actually dealt with the underlying cause. So I want to get that stuff right before I actually start doing that. So I'm kind of watching on this weight a little bit. I'm going to bump up weight compared to what I did last week. But yeah, I'm just saying.
And they don't want to admit that to themselves. They don't want to stop and say, yeah, man, you know, I really could have become this had I decided to
let's go to 250.
Do everything required to do that. They're just not willing to do that. So people choose to believe in luck and circumstances and happenstance and, you know, the right place at the right time, which, yes, there are little instances in life where it's going to look like luck, or it's going to look like you're in the right place at the right time. But how did you get in the right place at the right time? Did you get in the right place at the right time because you were sitting on your couch for the last 10 years watching fucking Netflix? Because I don't think anybody in the world ever was in the right place at the right time without taking forward action, right? How about the guy who gets lucky? Did he get lucky because he's, you know, fucking playing video games? No. He got lucky because he was taking forward action. He happened to be somewhere. Somebody saw something in him or something happened, and he would just happen to be there. And those things do happen, but you have to be moving forward for them to happen, all right? And this idea that, you know, people like to point at the fucking vast minority of experiences as the excuse as to why they're not doing anything, right? They like to say, oh, well, that guy's parents were rich, or that guy did this or that. Bro, that circumstance is like 0.0001 of the success that you see in the world, all right? So you're going to take this extreme circumstance of someone who was happenstance or lucky or in the right place at the right time, and you're going to make that the reason that you can't fucking do anything? That's bullshit. The truth of the matter is, it takes a long time, it takes a lot of work, and most people don't want to do that. That's true. So they'll make excuses around everything that they can to avoid them having to address the truth, which is, I'm just not willing to do the work. And here's the cool thing. If you were just able to admit to yourself, I'm just not willing to do it, you're going to have a lot more peaceful life. Because here's where people think themselves. They think they have all these goals and dreams. They think they have this everything. They want all this shit, but they don't want to do the work. But they continue to show up and listen to this podcast, or go to seminars, or take courses. And in reality, dude, all we're looking for is the secret. And the secret is very simple. Decide what you want, reverse engineer it, win every single day, and move forward until you create it. And that's the secret. But people don't like it. They don't like that because it's hard, it takes time, it's frustrating. But the reward that you get from it is more than just the thing you're trying to create. You become highly skilled, highly knowledgeable, highly experienced. Your perspective on the world changes. You become a much more fulfilled human being, a much richer in knowledge human being, a wise human being. This is the path of a fulfilling existence. And because people think of it as money, cars, and houses, and quote-unquote success, as opposed to what they gain in addition to that, which is actually the prize, they just ignore it. And they say, well, fuck, man, I got screwed. I tried that, it didn't work. You know, that guy was rich when he started, so, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Yeah, right. It must be nice. Yeah, it must be nice, bro. I've worked every single day of my life for 25 years, hard as fuck. You're goddamn right it's nice. It's fucking really nice. It's really nice to go to my nice house. It's really nice to fucking go wherever I want on a private jet. It's really nice to come here to this amazing company with these amazing people every day. It's really nice to drive some of the coolest cars.
I'm gonna go over here to quads again,
It's fucking worth it too.
to the leg extension before this burn wears out, and put that stress on them again. Do one set to failure here. Drop weight a little bit.
But you're going to have all this knowledge, all these skills that's going to allow you to help others. And ultimately, that's what creates an awesome society. We have high-level people who are achieving at a high level, who are encouraging people, teaching people, pulling people along, and that's what we're missing in America anyway. So you have an obligation to go out and figure out what it is you want and go achieve it, because when people see you achieve it, then they understand that it's possible. And that's how we change the culture from this bullshit we have to what we need and what this country's supposed to be about. So, figure it out, man.
I think I'm gonna get to this. The cool thing here, man, is like I see these questions all the time. It's like they can't get over the negativity that's around. It sounds like you've already made a massive step. For sure, just getting out of that environment. Man. Like so now you got to blood check you.
Yeah, but you don't have to get out of the environment like that, dude. You don't have to move across the You just have to stop giving them. And you gotta look at motherfuckers when they look, this is like high school. Okay? These people are losers. They're sitting at the cool kids table right now. And they look at you and they say, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing?
Oh, fuck.
But I can promise you, when you go out and you build what it is that you say you're going to build, and those motherfuckers doing the same thing that they were doing 15 years ago, they're not cool anymore. And you'll be cool. All right? Cool is doing what the fuck you need to do for you. Cool is being authentic to you. Cool is creating the life that you need. That's cool. Cool is not
Good, just a tad bit of rest. Then I'm gonna go into singles.
Oh, you've changed. You're not a loyal friend. Remember where you came from? People are losers. And they're always going to be sitting there saying the same thing, doing the same thing.
I need to do, not really research, but hell, maybe research.
That's the truth.
But figure out some other good quad workouts. I used to basically do like a alternating squat. I basically put my foot up on a bench and I'll do a squat just one-legged. Do that little like plate on my chest and then switch over to the other side and do that. I can definitely get a little bit more creative with the workouts I'm doing. Might be able to find some that give a little bit more stimulus. But what I'm doing is working, so I'm hesitant to change it up. But there's always room for improvement. I've actually, since I've been sticking to the same routine too, I feel like I'm actually able to really kind of start perfecting the movement and learn how to get the most out of it. Like, kind of reminds me of that, I think it's Bruce Lee, and he basically, he was like working on a certain punch, and he did it like hundreds of times, and his buddy was like, all right, man, you got it down now. And Bruce Lee is basically like, you know, not yet. Dude left for a while, came back, and Bruce Lee's like, there's sweat all over the ground. He's still doing that same exact movement, that same exact punch or kick, whatever it was. And he's like, now it's perfected. And if you get good at one thing, you know, or if you stick with one thing long enough, then you really start to learn how to get the most out of each little angle and what to do, what not to do, just to get the very most out of it. And you can get into that, you know, quality over quantity thing, which is super important. If you're only going to do one set to failure, then you want to make sure that you get the most out of that one single set, because if not, you're not going to be working out for another 4 days. And if you don't feel like you did enough at the gym on that one set that you did have the opportunity to produce growth with, then you're going to kick yourself in the ass. And you only do that so many times before you're like, fuck that, I ain't letting that happen. Like, I'm going to make sure I go to failure. and you start to be more intentional with your time and intentional in making sure that you do everything humanly possible that you can on that last set. Alright, so we'll go into singles here. Start out with my weak side first. I know I'm being repetitive on this, but I like the concept. So I'll start out with my left side first, because that's my weak side. If I can get 10 at max, then I stop there obviously, but whenever I get over to my right side, which is my strong side, I'm still going to stop at 10, even if I can get more. There's a lot of theories that, you can put 5 extra pounds on your weak side on bench or whatever you're working, and then bring that strength up, but I don't like messing with uneven weight. Like, I'd rather tone it back with 1 and make sure my weak side gets brought up, in proportion with my dominant side. So, all right, we'll start on the left side here.
What business they create, how they make their money, where are their customers, where's their headquarters, where's their employees,
And you're flexing and contracting the entire time, flexing and keeping it flexed as you go to the top and the bottom of that movement.
Do they have one of these secret nobody knows about companies, or do they have a company everybody knows about? See what I'm saying? Like, why do all these little entrepreneurs on the internet have all these companies no one's ever heard of? Where the fuck are? Is this you got them in the metaverse? Or where the fuck are they? Are they behind the curtain? Disclosing you what companies you own? See what I'm saying? You guys gotta get smarter than me.
I found 3 forced reps after you hit failure. Assisted is enough for you to come in here the next time you come work out that muscle group, where you're going to see a strength increase. Just those 3 reps right there. I've even tried it with 2, and I don't think it's as effective as whenever I get 3 forced reps. Really past that and into that kind of red line area, past what your body's used to, and then 3 reps. Forced and assisted, or even negative or static to failure, something past that, but I found 3 reps is the best for me. Seems like I get stronger every single time I do that.
Are tremendously particular and critical of their actions. And I'm not just talking about on a daily basis, I'm talking about every action they take. And the one thing that they do that I have found that all of them do is that they all self-assess the conversations, the way they treat people, the emails they send. They literally coach themselves to be better around every action they take. So, let's say they sent an email, or they had a phone call, right? They had a phone call, and they say, okay, what did I do there? I do this, I should have said that. I do this, I could have said that. All right? And they don't beat themselves up. You don't
All right.
fucked up, I'm a piece of shit. No.
It might not seem like a lot on this whole workout as far as quads go, but I'm telling you, it's only 4 exercises. But if you go to failure on each single one of them, then by definition, you're going past what your body did last time, and that is what stimulates the growth. Most people think they got to spend 2 hours in the gym. Well, they've got it backwards. All you do whenever you're in the gym is kick in the growth. You go past your body's red line and past its last, limitation, and that's what stimulates growth. You've only got to do that with a few sets, and then, so you don't actually grow in the gym. At home, with nutrition and rest, is where you grow, is where you overcompensate. So, it doesn't take near as much as what you would think. Alright, so, I'm going to do calves and forearms too. Do some supersets. I'm going to start over here with standing calf raise. We'll do probably one warm-up set and then a set to failure. Nothing too extensive here.
I'm going to do it better next time. And you move on.
I don't even like using that thing. Alright.
They know how to self-assess, they know how to self-coach, and most importantly, they know how to let it go and move on. Pro athletes don't carry the weight of a bad game into the next game. They all understand that they are competing at such a high level that if they carry the weight of the last game into the next game, they're going to fucking lose because the other guys are that good. And that's how you have to look at your life too. Your life, there's too many other people competing for the life that you want to carry the weight of the mistakes that you made into the future opportunities. So you have to learn to let it go, dude. And when you learn to let it go, and you learn to just accept who it is you are and accept yourself for, you know, the experience level that's appropriate for you, which is probably not very experienced, it becomes easy to let it go, and you just keep learning, keep moving forward. You know, I think that's another part that we could add to this, like the proper amount of humility. How many times have you done this? How many times have you been doing, how long have you been doing what you do? You're not a fucking expert. You're not the greatest of all time. Of course you're going to make mistakes. That's the process of learning and improving and getting better. So to think that you don't have to fuck up, or to think that you are too good to fuck up and letting that tear you up, that's actually arrogance, because you believe that you're much better than you actually are. So mix these two things together. Make yourself humble.
And one thing, whenever you're bringing up a weak body part, now I thought about doing this before I ever heard Arnold doing it. It was like, dude, I should just wear my shirt off at the gym while I'm out of shape. And the embarrassment of having a big belly is going to make me want to get into shape. So, and then I heard him talking about how whenever he wanted to bring up a weak body part like calves, he would purposely pull his sweatpants up so his calves were showing and they were smaller than the rest of his body, and it would make him want to work on them way more. So it's just like these little weird tactics that you'll use almost to shame yourself into doing what you know you should be doing, or actually prioritizing it. But I said that because I was thinking about how whenever I was starting to get overweight, like, dude, I was starting to outgrow my shirts and my stomach was showing through my shirts, and like, all that shit looks like shit. So my solution was to get bigger clothing. Well, whenever you've got bigger clothing, it hides it a little better. Not really, because you're still a big guy sitting there. But the thing is, whenever you get bigger clothes that aren't so tight on you, then you almost feel like you've got more room for error, and you'll eat more because, oh, I'll just put, you know, the shirt's going to cover it up. Nobody will be able to tell. Well, sorry, but everybody can tell. You're just deceiving yourself into thinking that they can't when they can. And the thing is, whenever you've got bigger clothes, you almost grow into those. So it wasn't until I was like, dude, fuck this shit. Like, I'm just going to have to bump my clothes down again and get my diet under control. I'd rather walk around uncomfortable with a smaller shirt on and basically, you know, shame myself into actually wanting to get back into shape. So I've noticed just buying those bigger clothes, you'll actually start to grow into those, and that's obviously the wrong way to go. All right, we're going to superset with forearms here. Going to superset with forearms here. Now, if I do them at the side, I don't feel like I can get as good of a contraction whenever I hold them on the inside and kind of, yeah, just get, it's almost like just a straight up curl for the inner part of your forearm there. So totally concentrated on it.
I love it. Man. Well, guys, those little special sauce.
Yeah. All right, guys. CTI tomorrow. Special one. Make sure you tune in. Let's finish the week strong. I'll see you later.
I don't know if that's just my body mechanics or if that's kind of pretty standard across the board. But if I toes pointed out and then the heels in more, if I work from that angle, I feel like it takes it from like the straight up just back of the calf to being more focused on that inner, kind of like that, where that softball is. And really just being able to flex and squeeze right there the whole time. So, for whatever it's worth. It's kind of crazy because I'm getting into, now that I'm on this cutting phase, I've kind of got my calories and my diet dialed in. I'm starting to get down into weights where I haven't been since I was in high school. You know, I'm at like 168 pounds right now. So we've got 40 more days. The goal is to get down to like 155. 160. I'm sure I can get at least 160. I've never done it before, so I don't have it as the numbers and everything as precise as what I probably will after I figure out what my body's really capable of at the sort of deficits and calories and stuff, but mathematically it adds up. But 155 I think is just really, really small, but I really just want to go until I'm just completely ripped, veins everywhere, and then start adding muscle from there. Because if I can do that, then you'll actually see a lot of the muscle gains as they occur, and you also see what different foods do in your diet as well. Because now you're like operating on just, okay, what's this do? Okay, what's this food do? Okay, like you can actually see what all these different foods do whenever you're at kind of like a baseline. Just like whenever you're fasting for blood tests, they want to get you down fasted to where they can actually see what your normal levels are without having all those different things in there. So that's kind of where my mind's at with it. I've been doing a horrible job recording my maxes here lately. I've been talking. Might only do one set on this. It depends on what I feel like on that first one. Yeah, I'll do one more set after this. And whenever I've got like hands-free movements, like the calves, like quads, a couple different movements, I like put my hands there, right on that part of the muscle where I'm wanting to work, and making sure I'm squeezing against my hands the whole time, making sure it's flexed and contracted while I'm doing that, doing the reps there. Helps you keep your mind in the muscle, but also just keep it really firm and isolated. started out, it's kind of weird because if you've never cut weight from kind of a significant weight before, then you don't realize like all the little changes that actually happen. It's like I'm starting to see this like just uneven, like seems like this part of the stomach's getting like fat chipped away at it. You know, I did have like a spare tire there. Now I'm down to about like a motorcycle tire. So, oh shit, just seeing the little changes in your body from day to day, like definitely keeps you motivated to keep going. All right, we'll do this one last set to failure on the calves. Do one more set of forearms, and then be done with it. Yeah, if those last few reps right there don't give you goosebumps and send chills up your spine, then you're just doing them wrong. Oh shit. I like how that handle there too. You can just take, once you hit failure, you can take just a couple pounds off that you need to go past, 3 or 4 more reps there. Really squeeze out just a little bit more. And all right, so I believe that's day 34, 75 hard. Yep. So that's day 34 of 75 hard. This is a brief and infrequent quad workout. Throwing calves and forearms in there too. I know right now I feel it's a little unappealing. Have my stomach hanging out a little bit, but tell you what, if I keep it out, put it out and keep it out in front of everybody, then it's just gonna give me that much more of a motivation to keep working and get my six-pack coming in, which is gonna happen. But I'm just saying, dude, also I want you guys to see the, as I started and as I finished day 75 with this program. Anyways, yeah, I ain't got too much more to say. I appreciate you guys that have been following along with me, engaging with me in the comments and everything. If you guys like the way that I progress through these workouts and break them down, please follow along for more. If you guys don't like it, cool, man, we'll part as friends. But all right, man, that was day 34.